They said money could buy anything. This man believed it. He built an empire from nothing, lived in a house bigger than most hotels, and owned things people only see in movies. But every night when the lights went out and the silence filled the halls, one truth haunted him. His daughter had never spoken a single word. Stay with me, because the moment she took one simple sip would change everything he thought he knew about happiness. And before we begin, if you believe stories that touch the heart still matter, subscribe to this channel now. Because stories like this remind us what being human truly means. The rich man's name was Jonathan Hale, and his success was the kind people talked about in hushed voices. He owned companies across multiple states, his face appeared in business magazines, and his net worth was listed in numbers most people couldn't imagine. To the outside world, Jonathan Hale had one life. But inside his mansion, behind gates and security cameras, happiness was something he chased but never caught. Jonathan had grown up poor. He remembered cracked shoes, skipped meals, and a childhood shaped by watching his parents argue over bills. That memory fueled him. He promised himself that when he had children, they would never lack anything. And in that promise, he poured his entire life into building wealth. When his wife Emily became pregnant, Jonathan spared no expense. The best doctors, the best hospital, the best of everything. When their daughter was born, they named her Lily. She was small, quiet, and had eyes that seemed to observe the world more than engage with it. At first, the doctors said everything was fine. Some children take longer, they said, but months passed, then years. Lily never spoke. By age 3, other children were forming sentences, laughing loudly, demanding attention. Lily communicated with glances, gestures, and silence. Jonathan hired specialists from across the country. Speech therapists came and went. Neurologists ran tests. Private clinics offered hope wrapped in expensive words. Nothing worked. Emily tried to remain hopeful, but the weight of it crushed her slowly. She was gentle with Lily, patient, loving in ways Jonathan struggled to understand. Jonathan's love was different. It came in the form of solutions. If there was a problem, he believed money could fix it. He filled Lily's room with toys from around the world, interactive learning devices, custom-built play areas. Anything designed to stimulate, encourage, awaken something inside her. Lily smiled sometimes, but the silence remained. As Lily grew older, Jonathan grew more desperate. He bought happiness in pieces, new vacations, private jets, theme parks closed just for them. He thought joy was something you could surround someone with until it finally stuck. But Lily remained quiet. Emily died when Lily was 8. A sudden illness. Too fast. Too unfair. Jonathan buried his wife under white flowers and promises he whispered too late. After that, the mansion felt colder. Lily withdrew further into herself, and Jonathan buried himself deeper into work. Years passed. By the time Lily turned 12, Jonathan had stopped hoping for miracles. Instead, he settled into control. He planned Lily's life meticulously. Private tutors, structured routines, everything predictable, everything safe. No room for disappointment. He told himself this was love. But Lily watched him with eyes that seemed older than her years. On her 13th birthday, Jonathan hosted a massive celebration. Guests filled the house. A famous musician performed. Expensive gifts lined the room. Lily sat quietly at the long table, hands folded, watching other people celebrate her life without really seeing her. At the end of the night, Jonathan leaned down and kissed her forehead. He asked if she was happy. Lily nodded slightly, but her eyes drifted away. That night, Jonathan sat alone in his office, staring at the city lights. For the first time, a thought unsettled him. What if happiness wasn't something he could purchase? He pushed the thought away. Weeks later, something unexpected happened. Jonathan was walking through the city incognito, something he rarely did. No driver, no entourage. He wanted to feel normal, if only for an hour. As he passed a small corner shop, he noticed children laughing outside. They were sharing something, arguing playfully, their faces lit with excitement. Inside the shop, an elderly man worked behind the counter. The place was simple. No luxury, no polish. Jonathan ordered something on impulse. It was nothing fancy, just something small. He brought it home without thinking much about it. That evening, Lily sat across from him at the kitchen table. The house was unusually quiet. Jonathan placed the small cup in front of her. He didn't explain. He just slid it gently toward her. Lily hesitated. She looked up at him, questioning. Jonathan nodded. She lifted the spoon slowly. Her hand trembled slightly. Jonathan felt his heart race for reasons he couldn't explain. She took one sip. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Lily's eyes widened. She froze, spoon hovering mid-air. Her brows furrowed as if she was trying to understand what she was feeling. Jonathan leaned forward, his breath caught in his chest. Lily took another sip, and then something extraordinary happened. She smiled. Not a polite smile, not a forced one. A real smile. One that spread across her face like sunlight breaking through clouds. Tears filled Jonathan's eyes instantly. He had seen her smile before, but never like this. This was different. This was alive. Lily let out a sound. It was small, broken, but it was a sound. Jonathan's heart nearly stopped. She looked at him, her lips trembling, and whispered a single word. It was barely audible, but it was there. Dad. Jonathan broke down. Years of control, pride, and certainty collapsed in that moment. He dropped to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. All the money, all the power, all the things he had bought, and it was this simple moment that reached her. Lily didn't suddenly start speaking fluently. That would have been too easy. Instead, this moment became the beginning of something deeper. Jonathan learned that Lily wasn't broken. She was sensitive. Overstimulated by the world Jonathan had tried to overwhelm her with. All the noise, pressure, and expectations had pushed her inward. That small quiet moment had given her space. Jonathan changed. He sold companies, reduced his empire, fired advisors who told him he was crazy. He moved Lily out of the mansion into a smaller home filled with light and calm. No pressure, no grand plans, just presence. Lily began to express herself in new ways, drawing, writing. Eventually, words came slowly, not many, but enough. One day, years later, Lily stood beside Jonathan at a community center they had quietly helped build. Jonathan was no longer the billionaire everyone knew. He was just a father. Lily took the microphone, hands shaking. The room held its breath. She spoke, not perfectly, not confidently, but honestly. She said, happiness isn't loud. It isn't expensive. It doesn't come wrapped in gold. Sometimes it's just one small moment when someone finally listens. Jonathan cried again, and for the first time in his life, he knew he hadn't bought happiness. He had finally learned how to receive it. If this story touched you, let us know in the comments where you are watching from. What city or state are you listening from today? Your voice matters here.